that time again. It is Talking Ish Friday. I'm Alfonso McClendon, and it is with great pride and pleasure that I introduce to some and others you already know. This is our very own celebrity chef, Chef Phantom. Welcome to Talking Ish Friday.
What's going on? What's going on?
Man, it's a pleasure for me because it's more than just business, it's personal. We family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I want you to introduce yourself to the people the three people that don't know you, and tell them who you are before we get into this live.
Well, I am the infamous Chef Phantom, Jacksonville's own personal premier private chef. I'm also a celebrity chef. I've cooked for the likes of Charlie Wilson, Babyface, Joe. I'm Tank's personal chef, Genuine. I've been on 14 national tours, a host of shows. The list goes on and on. So it's a lot of things that I've done. I also host my own event once a month, Tasting Cocktails, which is going substantially well.
Okay.
And that's just it for me.
So when did you get this love of cooking? How old were you, or when did you realize that, hey man, I put it down in the kitchen?
Well, I come from the country.
Yeah.
So, I come from that era where grandma say, if you don't know how to do nothing, you're going to know how to cook.
Yeah.
And you're going to know how to wash your clothes.
Right.
So my grandma taught me how to cook. Then being in the military, I had to cook on my own.
Okay.
So once I got out of the military, I still had that love for cooking. So I was self-taught, self-trained, and then I went to culinary school.
Okay.
To get because I'm a credentials person. Like,
okay.
Your dollar versus my dollar. I got a piece of paper, you don't.
Right.
The number is gonna be different.
Right.
We may have the same skill.
Right.
But because I got a piece of paper, my dollar gonna be a little bit more than yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The friends in the hood that say you can cook, you got the paper to say I did this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's just how it was me. But I love it though. You know what I'm saying? Every day it's not working for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's an art, and I take pride in going in and switching things up and coming up with different creations and cross connecting different cuisines. That's what I get off on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not your chicken wing and meatball person. Like, no, I want to elevate your palate. Gotcha. If that makes sense.
Make a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So when was it that first, if you can take us back to that first time you cooked for a celebrity, who was the celebrity and the feeling you had as they're eating and after they ate?
Well, of course, I got to give them their flowers right here. Gene.com was the first person who put me on.
Okay.
Back in 2000, I think it was 2014, 2015, he put me on Funk Fest.
Okay.
So the first true artist that I got to actually cook for was Charlie Wilson.
Okay.
R. Kelly.
Okay.
R. Kelly at the time.
Okay.
Uncle Luke. Who else? Demetria McKinney.
Okay.
Y'all know her as Janine from House of Pain.
House of Pain, right.
T-Pain. Teddy Riley. Man, it was so many of them out there. And that was my first time. And low key, honestly, it was kind of like I was brought into it on accident.
Okay.
Because my initial thing was when I got into the private industry, I just wanted to be able to cook for like the lawyers, doctors, things that need to go to their home.
Right.
And then I wanted to, you remember how like when the artists used to have concerts and stuff, the first place this is way before Instagram and everything became popular. They used to have to come to the radio stations to promote that they was in the city, they was doing the shows, this, that, and the third.
Right.
So that's where I thought I was gonna get on by like just going to the radio station, feeding them, taking a picture. That was it. Yeah. Gene put me in a whole different regimen, and it just blew up from there.
Okay. We often call him the mayor of the city.
Yeah, he is the mayor of the city.
He opened doors, connect dots with people.
Mm-hmm.
But when you saw the faces of those celebrities eating your food, during and after, what feeling went through you?
It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling, and for them to even be like, they'll tell the promoter, "Hey, keep this guy we need him on the tour."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it used to just be they was just a pit stop in Jacksonville.
Right.
And they be telling the promoter, "Hey, we need him on the tour."
That's what's up.
And so it just worked that way. But then see, like for me, it's not the artist who I get in. It's not the artist who I get close with. It's the manager.
Right.
Because the manager is the kid and caboodle of the whole operation.
Right.
If he say this, that, and the third, of course the artist gonna go with the manager.
Right.
But I also got in tune with the artists too. So you know what I'm saying? As I got cool with the managers, I got cool with the artists.
Right.
And we always develop a relationship and a bond. So it just went from there.
That's what's up, man. I remember one summer, I can't remember the year. I don't know if it was post-COVID or pre-COVID, but during the summer, you was cooking these dishes every Friday.
Yeah, Fresh
And
Food Friday.
fresh food Fridays. And then the thing about it is, as you said, it wasn't just about cooking chicken wings. It wasn't even like a regular steak. You elevated that steak to different levels. So
Mhm.
what is your motivation behind what you cook? And when these thoughts come across your mind, say, okay, this is a steak, but I want to turn this steak into something different that nobody have never ate, and then it work out. How do you come to that concept? How you build your menus?
It, most of the time when I build my menus, it's like, okay, how can I be different, right? Okay, so like for the sake of argument, you know, you have some of the best steakhouses in the city:
Right.
Roof Chris, Morton's, Capitol Grill, 13 Forks, everything, right?
Right.
Well, you can go to any one of their restaurants and get a ribeye steak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what's gonna make their ribeye steak different? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, see, with me on the private side, I can do what I want to do
Right.
because I have nobody to answer to.
Right.
I answer to me and me only.
Right.
So if I say, well, Roof Chris or Morton's or any of these places, I look at their menu. They steak might be 12 ounces, but they charge you $60 for a 12-ounce steak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know the actual number, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, what's 12 ounces?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In my mind, what's 12 ounces? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shit, fuck it. I'm gonna give them 22 ounces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a big boy steak.
Right. Right.
Because see, at the end of the day, I control my prices. I control what I do. I control everything that I do. I control it.
Right.
So I know how much it's gonna cost me, and I know how much to charge the consumer, to where they don't look at me like, wait a minute now,
Right.
hold on now, you just
Right.
you know what I'm saying. But if I'm saying I'm gonna give you a 22-ounce bone-in ribeye, sealed, you know, with the garlic mash and the whatever the side is, I'm gonna give it to you for the 60.
Right.
You're gonna be like, I'm gonna take that, because at the end of the day, you ain't getting that in nobody's restaurant.
Nobody restaurant.
Right. But see, I can do that on the private side.
With elevated flavor.
With elevated flavors. You know what I'm saying? I take all my steaks are hand cut. I have a personal butcher that I go to, and he cuts my steaks every time. He knows exactly how I want them. He knows how much fat I want on them. He knows everything. And I just call him like, hey, I need 20 steaks. I don't have to tell him.
Right.
Okay, come pick them up tomorrow. Or he might even say, you can come pick them up right now if you want to. And you know, I don't walk through front doors of places. I walk through the back door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the respect and, you know, like courtesy that I have with certain establishment. I just walk through the back door. There's none of that.
So would you say, and some would agree with this statement, and you may speak modest and humbly, but would you say you have elevated the level of awareness of private chefs here in the city of Jacksonville? Because before there was a Chef Phantom, you didn't hear about private chefs doing different things. They call themselves caterers, but you know, have somebody catering a wedding or somebody catering some kind of event, but to actually say, I'm a private chef. Do you feel like you elevated that awareness in the city?
I did. I'm somewhat like the forefather of it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because when people call me, even back then up until now, when they call me, they be like, oh, I need a caterer. I say, well, you're not hiring a caterer. Right. You're hiring a private chef, because I'm not a caterer.
Right.
I would take care of the number of people that you are serving, but I'm not a caterer. Right. I'm a private chef.
Okay.
I can do 30 to whatever number of people it is within my powers. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I don't consider myself a caterer. Do I do caterings? Right. Of course. But from the name, you don't hire Chef Phantom as a caterer. Right. You hire me as a private chef.
When was that moment that you said, you know, this is what I want to do? When did you decide, from going forth with my life, this is my passion, and I'm going to set myself aside from everything else I'm doing and focus on being the best chef that I can be?
See, here's the thing, right? I'm a very strategic person, and that comes from my military background, right?
Okay.
You know, strategic moves determine where you end up at, right?
Right.
So even back then, up until now, I still look at people. I'm like, okay, well, what are they doing? And still, like, I'm gonna give you a case in point. Remember when the lamb chop wave came about?
Right. Right.
I was doing lamb chops 7, 8 years ago.
Right.
When it was like
Taboo.
to our culture,
Right.
it was like, I don't.
Right.
But now you can't keep a lamb chop out of nobody's
Say,
mouth, right?
Keep a lamb chop.
I was
on
doing
the
that
shelf.
I was doing that 7, 8 years ago when it wasn't a trend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I look at myself as like I don't follow trends. I'm a trend setter.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I elevate the levels of pretty much. I try to put people in a sense to where step your game up.
Right.
Like stop being so minute to the regular,
Right.
the normal, if that makes sense.
Make a lot of sense.
You know what I'm saying? If you continuously do the normal, you're not going to elevate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Be creative with it. Step outside your box. But see, what happens is some of the people who they get content.
Right.
They get content with doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Till you never elevate yourself.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like I never repeat dishes.
Right.
I never do.
Right.
Why? Because if I make a steak for you, right? Now mind you, it might be a 22-ounce steak.
Right.
But I might do a herb, lemon, butter crusted steak for you.
Right.
And to somebody else, they might get a 22-ounce bone-in ribeye, but I might do it like a mesquite, whatever. So the flavor the product may look the same,
Right.
but the flavor is totally different.
Totally different.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how you separate yourself. That's how you elevate yourself to where it grows and the passion. If you're content with doing the same thing over and over and over, then this ain't really you're not. I ain't gonna say this ain't the business for you, but you're just
Limiting yourself.
you're limiting yourself.
Right.
Whereas if you change it up, because like this, if you used to eating grits with butter, salt, pepper, right? That's how you used to eating grits, right?
Right.
Okay, but then you come to me and you get my grits. Damn, these grits taste different. What is it about these grits?
Right.
They good. Oh, I added a chicken bouillon to it.
Mm.
Oh, I ain't never had it like that before.
Right. I'm cooking them tomorrow with
I'm
chicken bouillon. Yeah.
I'm gonna make me some tomorrow. It might not come out exactly how I did it,
Right.
but I told you all I did was add a chicken bouillon to it. Oh, I'm gonna add me some. Because you were so used to butter, salt, and pepper.
Right.
But when you tasted mine, you still tasted the butter, you still tasted the salt, you still tasted the pepper, but there was something else.
Right.
You just couldn't put your finger on it.
Right.
And you might see me and be like, hey, what you put in the grits? Oh, I just added chicken bouillon to it.
Yeah. So when it's passion, is more than a menu. When it's passion, you creating. So when you're in the kitchen, you creating.
Yeah.
You're not following the script. I'm creating something whole new.
Yeah.
Trendsetter. I like that. So when you look at the future of Chef Phantom, I look at the Gordon Ramsays, I look at all these top chefs, and I look at different things. Do you see yourself of one day hosting your own cooking show?
Yes, I do. Well, actually, I did have a cooking show. It was called Taste and Cocktails.
Okay.
I only did 2 seasons, but the company who was doing the marketing and the streaming, they got bought out and they didn't buy all our contracts. So, but I do look forward to doing my own cooking show, and eventually, I'm meticulous right now. I'm trying to find that location. I want to open up my own restaurant.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I do, but I want to open up a restaurant to where I can compete with the Ruth Chris's and the Mortons, and I ain't trying to name drop like that,
Right.
but in order to succeed, you gotta look at who's your competition, right?
Right.
So if I'm that person that, okay, I gotta know who I'm fighting,
Right.
because these are Fortune 500 companies, but they're chain companies.
Right.
right? They spread across the world. I'm just one person.
Right.
But I want to start with one and eventually.
Branch out. And, when I was living in Chicago, one thing that I really noticed, especially in the Hyde Park area, I got to give my hometown Chicago a shout out. And in the Hyde Park area, we call that, that's us, Black excellence in Hyde Park, right? And so when you see the restaurants in Hyde Park, these are African American owned restaurants that they got their own spin. The wheel have already been invented, but it's they spin to Italian food. It's their spin to steakhouses. So I actually get the concept that you're talking about having, you looking at the Mortons, you're looking at the Ruth Chris, but here it is. This is where culinary meets the culture. That's a whole different menu. You see what I'm saying? So now the culture done invaded the culinary space, and now I'm introducing something to you that's a whole lot different, right?
Correct.
And so that's one of the things I see with your monthly event, and we want to talk about that. You talk about your monthly event. Tell us what that monthly event is, what it's about, and how the average person can be a part of what you're doing once a month with Tasting Cocktails.
So so let me give you a little backstory on Tasting Cocktails.
Okay.
Tasting Cocktails originally started as a day party to celebrate my I was like 5 years in the game.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I considered it like my little 5-year anniversary. Like don't mean much, but it was an accomplishment to me, right?
That's a lot.
Yeah. So once I did Tasting Cocktails for my 5-year anniversary, people was like, "Oh, I like this. You need to keep it going." So it started out as a day party, like at the local spot. What it used to be called Manhattan's, but it's no longer here now.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's no longer here now, but I may be bringing that back too.
Okay.
So we just gonna, you heard it here first.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first. Talking Ish Friday. First.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
So so then it kind of like died out because I ended up going back on tour.
Okay.
Things of that nature. So then I switched it up to a ball.
Okay.
Where I did the ball once a year.
Okay.
Get fly, get sexy, ball gown attire, the whole nine. The whole concept of Tasting Cocktails originally was every different food item had a different alcohol in it. That's why it's called Tasting Cocktails.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, that's what it was. But then there was people who supported me who don't drink.
Gotcha.
So I was like, or even some people who was going through sobriety.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? They supported me. So like I had to be conscious of that part.
Right.
Which nevertheless, it never changed up the food aspect.
Right.
It's just now I just got to take the alcohol out of it.
Right.
So it was still Tasting Cocktails, but now the cocktails actually came from the bar versus it was in the food.
Gotcha.
And everything. So now Tasting Cocktails it's a once a month. It's a once a month event where, you get fly, you get sexy, after 5 cocktails. It's like an upscale happy hour.
Gotcha.
Put, ladies wear their spaghetti strap dresses, put the heels on, fellas come very debonair.
Right.
You ain't gotta come suited and booted, but nice blazer, shirt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Put some clothes on.
That's
what big boy stuff.
Yeah, big boy stuff.
Man stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So that's the whole concept of it. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing it once a month, and it's an invite only.
Okay.
So you have to be invited. Now, in order for you to be invited, you have to be invited by me personally, or invited by someone who I invited.
Gotcha.
That's the only way you get in the party.
Okay.
Because there's no location on the flyers or nothing like that. So you have to be invited to the party.
Gotcha.
And it's been working great. It's been 2 sold out events. Yeah. I just dropped the one for this month, the All Red Affair.
All Red Affair,
yeah. We're gonna do the All Red Affair for that one. And it's been going bananas.
And so when you say you've been on 14 world tours, I don't know a chef in this area that say they got that to their resume.
14 national, not world.
National tours.
That means across the 50 states.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know it was a particular time I was trying to get you to do something for me. You're like, hey, cuz, I'm out of town. I'm on tour right now. But when you move around the country like that, your brand is expanding. So are you also taking private chef invites for someone maybe in Arizona or Chicago?
It's funny that you mention that, because what I typically do is, like, let's say I'm going to Chicago, right? I go to like a social media like Facebook, Instagram, Chicago chefs, you know the hashtags, right? And then